second grade. We're back and we are solving some more compare problems today, but they're going to look a little different than they did yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a peek at that learning target, and that learning target will change a little bit. We're going to add to it today. Same one from yesterday, but today we're going to get really specific, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do that together, and then we're going to dive right in. I can solve compare problems using models, equations, and words. And yesterday I've kept that up. I want us to make sure that we can always go back and refer to our public record from the day before as we dive into some new learning. I want to start us off with another visual because I think these visuals help us a lot. So I want you to take a peek at these two stacks of cubes. What do you notice about these two stacks of cubes? They're the same. How do you know that they're the same? They both have 5. They're the same height. One's not longer, one's not taller than the other. Okay, now what do you notice? There's more yellow. How many more? Yep, there's 2 more yellow. Absolutely. This one's fewer, right? It has 2 fewer. That was some learning from yesterday. Where are they the same? It's talking about how they're taller, more, fewer. Where are they the same? Right, those 5 are the same, and this is that difference. So keep this picture in your mind as you're solving our work today. I'll keep these up on my easel, and you can take a peek at those throughout the day. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And remember I said we're going to be adding to our learning target a little bit. That compare is how they are the same or different, and our difference is right over there on our vocabulary chart, right? That's this part right here that is the difference, the same, and then this is that different part, right? There's that difference, those 2 extras. The unknown that we're trying to solve for, it's the part that we don't know. And remember, second grade, we always want to put a box around that number that we don't know, or that is our unknown. And we're going to be asking ourselves questions about more and fewer. We're going to hear those words over and over and over again. So let's go ahead and read our first problem. You're going to put your elbows on your knees, your fingers on your shoulder, please. And let's read it. And don't try to solve it ahead of time. We're going to dive into it a little bit deeper. Shanika jumped rope 14 times. Fran jumped rope 9 more times than Shanika. How many times did Fran jump rope? Huh? Let's go read that again. Shanika jumped rope 14 times. Fran jumped rope 9 more times than Shanika. How many times did Fran jump rope? What do we already know? That part's easy, isn't it? Okay. Shanika jumped rope 14 times. What else do we know? Fran jumped 9 more times than Shanika. What are we trying to find out? How many times did Fran jump rope? Wait a second. It said she jumped rope 9 more times. Didn't she just jump 9? No. Well, then I want you to show me how you're going to solve that. How many times did Fran jump rope if she jumped rope 9 more times than Fran? What would that equation look like? Let's go ahead and do that part first. What would that equation look like to help us solve this work? What is your equation? I see all these equations. They look the same. What does that equation look like? 14. What do each of those parts of that equation represent? Okay, that's Shanika's. This is the 9 more. And so what's our unknown? What are we trying to find out? How many times Fran jumped? Okay. All right. How would we go ahead and solve that? Go ahead and get started, my dears. Where are Shanika's in your model? And then what did you do? Why did you add 9 more? Ah, so then where is Fran's number of times she jumped rope? Okay. What model are you using? Well, that helps, doesn't it? Where's your 9 more in that model? Okay. Don't forget to put that number in the unknown, but in the box of the unknown, okay? Where is your model? How does that match our equation? Okay. All right, guys, let's come together. This is an interesting way of showing it. I do, oh gosh. Golly bum, guys. I do love when we can organize our circles a little bit. The circles the other day were a little overwhelming, weren't they? Okay, what did you do first? So you put them in your 10 frames. 14. Okay? How did you show 14? Oh, yes, a 10 and 4 extra. And then what did you, and who, wait a second. First question. What does that 14 represent? That is Shanika's. Okay, and then what did you do? Drew 9 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and then what? Where's Fran's work? Or where's Fran's jumping rope? Oh, the whole kit and caboodle. All of those are Fran's. So how many times did Fran jump rope? 10, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh. Does anybody have any questions about this work? Where is the 9 more in her work? The 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. How did she get to 23? And the extras. Why would that be helpful to put them in those 10 frames? It definitely is easier to see and count that, right? We're not having to count by ones. All right, so Shanika's 14, and then that 9 more, and the total, or the sum, is 23. So Fran jumped 23 times. Okay, how did you solve it? A little different way. Okay. And why did you start at 14? Shanika jumped 14 times. Okay. And then what did you do? You jumped 9. How did you jump 9? Why did you do a jump of 6? Got you to 20. Have that friendly number. And then what did you do? Jump 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And why did you jump 3 more? 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And where did you land? 21, 22, and 23. How are these two ways the same? And how are they different? Okay, so this piece of work, we see all of those numbers, right? We saw the 14, drew on 9 more, and the total was 23. Added 2, absolutely. did a big jump and counted on from there, and we see that answer there. So where are Shanika's times that she jumped rope? Is it just this 14? No, it's it's the 14 that's all before that on the number line. Remember when we're doing that number line, this is not just that number, it's all the numbers before. We talked about that a little bit yesterday too, right? When we think about this part's the same, it's all the numbers before 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's all of those, and then we have all of that. That's all that 11 includes all of these. Same thing here. 14 is all of this before here too, between 14 and 0. And then there's that 23, it's the total that Fran jumped. So if we were going to write a sentence to answer that question, what would we say? How many times did Fran jump rope? Fran jumped rope 23 times. Let's double check. Is that 9 more times than Shanika? Yep, absolutely. Did she jump more than Shanika? Yes, she did. Very good. So when we're looking at this, we're solving compare problems. And what part was the unknown? Was it the smaller number or was it the bigger number? It was the bigger. So we had the compare and we're adding to this. It was the bigger unknown that we're looking for, right? So we have lots of different kinds of compare problems. And this one is the bigger unknown is what we're trying to solve for. It's still a compare problem and the bigger is unknown. Let's see if we can do the same thing. We're still talking about the same girls, different activity. Shanika went down the slide 17 times. Ooh, put that picture in your mind. She went down 4 fewer times than Fran. How many times did Fran go down the slide? Let's take a minute here. Shanika went down the slide 17 times. She went down the slide 4 fewer times than Fran. There's that fewer. This is a little confusing. Even confused Ms. Baker when I was saying it out loud. How many times did Fran go down the slide? So let's take a minute and think. What do we already know? Okay, there's Shanika. We know how many she went down, 17 times. What else do we know? It was 4 fewer than Fran. So is Shanika's number a bigger number or a smaller number than Fran's? How do you know it's smaller? Because it says 4 fewer, right? So her number is fewer than Fran's. So then when it says how many times did Fran go down the slide, what are we trying to find out? Okay. We want to know how many times Fran going down the slide. Is that number of Fran's is going to be more or less than Shanika's 17? It's going to be more. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and solve that and see what we think. Go ahead and get busy. Remember, you guys have your counters, you have your cubes, you have tools in front of you to do this. Please don't hesitate to break out those manipulatives. They are there to help you. All right. Where is Shanika's in your work? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Why did you kind of put them together like that instead of putting them in a 10 frame? It is helpful sometimes when they're in a row, isn't it? Okay, for this I'm all about that. It helps us make sense of it, right? We've got to hold it in our hands and see. Okay, So then you have Franz. So how did you show Franz? So what I'm hearing you say is you knew Fran had at least 17. So you gave her 17 and lined that right up. But you said you knew, okay. But there's 4 fewer here, so you drew 4 more on Franz. Because that would show 4 fewer, right? They're missing there, aren't they? Yeah, they're not there. They're fewer. This is a shorter one than this one. So then how many did Fran jump? This was 17. This is 18, 19, 20, 21. Ooh. So what equation would you write for that? Oh my goodness. Okay, so you started with 17. You added that 4 more to get to 21. Does everybody see where that is in this friend's work? She knew there were 17 that were the same. This one had 4 fewer, so she had to draw 4 extras down there. And when she counted on, she said 18, 19, 20, 21 was the 17, and then the 4 extras to get to that 21. Whoa, that's some deep thinking, isn't it? Are we still trying to find the bigger number? We are, aren't we? Right? So Fran is still having that bigger number. Okay, and it's still that part that's unknown. 23 is bigger than 14. 21 is bigger than 17. How did you use a different model to show this work? A number line can be super helpful when it comes to comparing problems, can't it? Yeah. If that's a tool that is a friend of yours, you guys, please feel free to use it. It's a good way to show some thinking without having to do as much and draw out as much. So where did you start on that number line? 17? Why did you start at 17? I'm hearing you say, I started at 17 because that was the number that was the part that was the same. Okay, so they have both done at least 17 times down the slide. So then what did you do? You were trying to figure out 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was 4 fewer, 4 more. So 4 more was 21. So this is fewer. That's less. Sorry. That 17 is less than 21. And how many less or how many fewer? It's 4. So you added on. It is the same equation. That work shows the same equation. It sure does. Absolutely. So we're still seeing that difference, right? This is that extra. This is that extra. So I'm going to give you a third problem to do on your own. And then when we're done, we're going to come back and we're going to summarize this at the end of our math block today. So I'm going to give you some time to solve this at your seat. And I'm going to have you do your 4 problems of your independent practice. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about this problem and how we're still trying to find that bigger unknown. When we know that the unknown is going to be bigger, we know what we're shooting for, right? But we got to figure out how we're going to solve that. So the one I want you to do on your own is this one. Shanika ran 12 fewer seconds than Fran. There's that fewer again. She ran 15 seconds. How many seconds did Fran run? So Shanika ran 12 fewer seconds than Fran, and we know that Shanika ran 15 seconds. How many seconds did Fran run? There's that bigger unknown, so how will we go about solving it? I'll remind you to go back and think how we used, or what numbers we used that we knew from the story to help us solve those problems, and how you can use that to help you solve this one. Solve away, friends. I can't wait to come back and dive into this a little bit deeper.